Hi everyone, how's everyone doing? So this book review is based on an audiobook that I've been listening to recently. And as you know, throughout the year, I'm going to continue to read these books and to review them. And the whole purpose of it really is just to give you a snapshot of some of these books and the value and the knowledge. Now, this book, I'm giving it 10 out of 10 because when we think of books that have got the words rich or wealth or anything to do with money in, we always have lots of assumptions. We think, oh, here's another book about getting rich, or oh, this is just going to be the same old normal stuff. But this book is different, and a few books I've read actually, so don't always be fooled by the title. If you would have seen the book cover, you'd think, oh, just another book about money. Even the title itself, Grow Rich While You Sleep, you'd think, oh, here we go, another one of these, like, you know, get rich quick schemes. But it's nothing to do with that. The book is very powerful. It talks about mindset. It talks about our unconscious thoughts, training ourselves to become successful. So one of the things in this book that really stuck out was when it said, it's not our problems that disturb us, but our lack of faith in our ability to solve them. So think about that again. It's not our problems that disturb us, but our lack of faith in our ability to solve them. So it's talking about there the idea that it's never the problem itself. It's really about us not having the confidence or the faith in ourselves to say that we're going to be able to solve these problems. So if everyone was to say to themselves, every problem that I come across, I'm going to have the tools, the resources, or the knowledge, or the how. It's just the idea is going to come to me and I'm going to be able to solve it. Then you wouldn't really have a problem. You wouldn't feel stressed because you know you're going to be able to deal with it anyway. And it says life would be boring without problems to solve. Having problems is good, he says, because it means you have to find a way to solve them. And what you learn by solving problems is more powerful than having a boring life where you don't have any challenges. And that's where you'll find, like, when people have grown up and they've not really been through any adversity, or if they, you know, raise their children to not deal with any problems at all, as in not tackle doing their own laundry, or not learning how to cook, or not learning how to fend for themselves or budget, then when they become adults and a problem arises, they feel very confused as to how to deal with it because they've not been given the tools. So it says you need to get to work on exactly what you want. You need to take a risk, ask for what you want, so you say it out loud, take action to get it. So it's about action, not about lying down, you know, and just visualizing. That is all powerful. Affirmations are powerful, but you have to take action. It says that one affirmation that you can say, though, before you go to bed is, I'm at peace with myself and the world. I'm guided to do the right thing at the right time. I thought that was a really, really good affirmation. And then it talks about, there's so many bits in here. I've literally just taken sections, so it is going to be all over the place. There's too many things in there. And I just was listening to the audiobook. It's a very long audio. Well, it's about 4 hours long. And there was just too much information, and every sentence I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to turn this into a book review? Because the whole book is just so powerful. So it says, muscles that we don't use will lose their strength. So a mind that is not kept active will lose lots of its brilliance. He talks about mental exercise should take priority over physical exercise. You need to train your brain. You need to read books. You need to solve skills. You need to put your brain under pressure to do things that are going to test it. Because he talks about, you know, a judge who retired from his job, and then he started just sitting on the couch and watching TV, and then he just lost the ability to even like read books or to be intellectual, because he wasn't using his brain anymore. He wasn't in the job that he was doing, but he also decided he wasn't going to you know, he was retiring and he didn't want anything to do with anything that was too intellectual, and then he lost all of his skills, it said. So it says, write down your problems and work out how to resolve them. Don't allow problems to be magnified in your mind. So here's another really powerful part of the book. It was saying that when we think about problems and we're worrying all the time, where in our mind we're saying, oh, I've got this problem, I can't pay these bills, and I've got problems with my car, and I've got problems with this, and we're going on and on and on in our mind. He said, once you actually write down the actual problem itself, your brain will come up with a solution of how you can solve that. It said, but if you magnify the situation, because what people will do is just say, how am I going to deal with this? Oh, I can't pay any bills. I'm not going to find any money. And they'll go off on a tangent and they will not realize that writing down what the issues are and then figuring out a plan is more productive than just talking about all the problems you have and magnifying like that how big they are. So then the next part, it says that imagine you have a blank check. So he was talking about money in this section. It says you can feel rich without actually having the riches. He talks about this idea that you can have a blank check and you can write an amount on that check. And even though that check hasn't been cashed, he said, would it make you feel rich? Because he says if someone gives you a check for £1 million, you're going to have to put it in the bank. But whilst you have the check in the bank, you still feel rich. But he says you haven't actually got the money yet because it takes time to clear. So in the 5 days it takes the check to clear, you're still thinking and acting and believing that you're rich. So he says you can do that anyway. You can imagine that you're like that all the time. And he gives like an idea of, acting like, not acting like you're rich. The whatever you want, it might not be wealth or riches, but whatever it is that you want, you have to act like it. Now, you've probably heard this in loads of books. So you have to dress like someone who's successful. You have to talk like someone who's successful. You have to behave like a successful person. You have to, anything you do has to be in alignment with what it is that you want. And then it's all law of attraction stuff. But he said most people feel the road to success is a tough one, so they avoid what it takes to get there. That was another. There's so many things in here, I can't even talk about it. But he said people avoid doing what they think they need to do to get the things that they want to do. So they'll think of success and they'll think, well, I can't do that. I can't achieve what this person has achieved because it's going to be too much work. So they're taught themselves out of it. But he said the road to success, it is tough. But if you already acknowledge that and say this is a tough road to travel, but I'm going to do it anyway because I want success badly enough, then you can do it. He says if you're a success, if you believe you're a success, if you think you're a successful person, then you are. But then what you need to do is prove it in your actions. And that's the same as with anything. And let's just see a few more bits. There's so much in this book that I can't even hold my breath. So yeah, I've done that part there. And it's right. So he talks about success consciousness. So he says if you in success consciousness, it means that you are acting and behaving as though you see yourself as successful. You're not anything else except for successful. So your consciousness. So he talks about this idea that even in your conscious mind is when you're doing things, you're saying things, but in your unconscious mind is what you believe. So if you work on your unconscious mind and you go to sleep every night, you're doing the affirmations, you're actually holding beliefs and holding conversations about success. You're talking about the things you haven't got yet, but you're talking about them as though you already have them. He says that is success consciousness because you already believe it's possible. You already believe it's here. So he says it's our memories of the past and our fear of the future that makes our present so difficult. Here we go again. I'm going to put some of these as shorts because there's too many quotes in here that I just think are too powerful to miss. So he said it's our memories of the past and our fear of the future that makes the present so difficult. So imagine if you just said, I'm just going to focus on the present moment. I'm not going to worry about what's happened in the past. I'm not going to be fearful of what could happen in the future. I'm just going to live in the moment. That is powerful. So then it says, think about thinking. So think this part, remove negative thoughts immediately. So think about the things that you think about and check it. So adjust your thinking. So when a negative thought pops into your head, you've already got a plan of action. You remove that negative thought straight away. So it might be that you use a counter statement to remove it. It might mean that you listen to the thought, but then you decide to let it go. I've got videos on this channel, on my YouTube, about dealing with negative thoughts. There's books out there that can also help with that. So then it says to go to bed with the mental pictures of the positive day you'll have tomorrow. It says people are going to bed and they're thinking about the bad day they've had. And he says, why are people doing that when the day's over? You can't do nothing about it. So go to bed with the positive day that you'll have tomorrow. So think about that you're going to have a good day and then plan it, visualize it. So the final thing he says is to replace. So yeah, these are the thoughts. So replace negative thoughts with positive mental pictures. because he said visual pictures are more powerful than the thoughts themselves. A thought, just, you can run away with that thought, the negative thought, it can take you all over the place. But if you replace that with a picture, so say you've got negative thoughts about being sick, but you replace that with a thought of a healthy person in the gym working out, or someone in good health, he said that is going to be more powerful than the thought of being sick. Same as if you have thoughts of being poor, or thoughts of not having money. If you visualize yourself going into shops and being able to buy whatever you want, or you visualize bunches of money, or you visualize you know, being on a luxury holiday, or doing something that costs a lot of money, going into the car showroom and buying the car of your dreams, those pictures will outweigh any negative thoughts that you have about money. So this is a really good book. It's Grow Rich While You Sleep by Ben Sweetland. You can get it as an audiobook on YouTube. You can buy the book as well. And let me know what you guys think. This is one of the best books I've read this year. 10 out of 10. And I'll be back next week with another book review. Take care. Bye.